Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic 24 hours a day. I am meteorologist Robert Smith, and this is the afternoon edition of the daily video forecast discussion for this Wednesday, the 29th of April, 2020. And the first order of business this afternoon, obviously, has been the flood watch, which is now in effect for all of the areas and counties here in New Jersey that are shaded in green. We're expecting a little less rain along the coast, but some 2-3 inches of rain over the Poconos and southwestern or southeastern Pennsylvania into Wilmington, Delaware. Maybe an inch to an inch and a half right along the immediate coast here down to Atlantic City. This is in effect for tomorrow afternoon right through Friday afternoon. And again, if we look at this on a large scale, let's see if we can move this screen down here. It will be from Thursday afternoon through Friday afternoon, and the intensity of the rain will lighten up a little bit on the morning hours on Friday, but we're still looking at anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain across the region, and could be higher over terrains of eastern Pennsylvania and northwestern New Jersey because we have upglide, and that's orographic lifting on top of the flow that's coming in from the south and southwest and the jet structure, so that, that's the reason. So this is definitely going to do a number on you and me. You and I should say. Low-level water vapor loop this afternoon shows our upper level low here across Indiana and also portions of the Great Lakes here. And this is the center of the upper low right now. This is a very strong and dynamic cold front. We had very strong thunderstorms in this area with wind and hail damage last night and early this morning. That's now into the Gulf. And we can see this plume of moisture riding basically up the spine of the Appalachians during this afternoon, so lowering and thickening clouds, which has been the case for all of today. And the winds are also aloft, are also out of the southwest, so it's going to pump in a lot of moisture. And notice how slow this upper low is because it's occluding right now, which means it closes off because there's blocking upstream here in Canada. So with that blocking, this isn't really going to go all that fast, and all of this moisture from the subtropical jet stream and the polar jet here are going to feed into the region. And we have orographical lifting because the winds are all going to be from off the ocean and from the southeast, and that's going to add a lot of vertical moisture transport into the upper levels of the atmosphere. So mountainous areas will probably receive more than what is currently forecast. And big new storm system coming into the west coast as well. But it's really hot here in Southern California today and in portions of Florida as well. And this is the radar mosaic. Fort Dix is still down, obviously, for maintenance. Brand new radar system coming into Fort Dix, so we just have to give it time. But we looked at the national mosaic of all the Doppler radars in the area. We can see very big, strong thunderstorms here developing in the southeast and across the Tennessee and Ohio River Valley area this afternoon, with our big upper level low spinning right in here. Using the iWeatherNet's storm browser from iWeatherNet.com, you can see the storm reports here of all the heavy rain here in the UP of Michigan and Milwaukee and portions of the Great Lakes here. And of course, if we head down here along this cold front this afternoon, just west and west of Knoxville from Chattanooga, all the way up the spine here into Columbus and Dayton, Ohio, we have some wind and damage reports, and of course in the Gulf. This is starting to weaken just a little bit as it bowed out earlier this morning, but we had some lightning strikes here, and looks like, this is all beginning to wind down just a little bit here, but all this moisture is heading up in our direction. You can already see it starting to break out in the warm air advective pattern here on a southeast to northwest line. So, we're going to have a lot of training of rain here in the next 24 hours. Training means going over the same locations repeatedly for hours. And a lot of lightning with these storms too along this cold front here. And put this back on, see if we can get this to work. Here comes the live lightning data here, and you can see it's pretty dynamical. National watches and warnings. Obviously, everything in the green here is flood warnings or flood advisories. Flood watches, actually, for all of this area here along the northern mid-Atlantic, and of course we have some wind advisories here across the Tennessee and Mississippi River Valley and across the high plains and the central plains. We have fire weather danger, red flag warnings here in the central plains here and the Great Divide, and then of course here in southern Florida, southern California rather, Nevada and Arizona, we're dealing with excessive heat warnings in this location. National real-time temperatures this afternoon. Look, it's already in the 90s here in the Baja, or the west coast of California here into the Baja region, and into the mid and low 90s here into portions of southeastern California and into Arizona here. Meanwhile, we've got some cool air to the north, but everybody else seems to be warming up back into the 70s and 60s here across the northern mid-Atlantic. We'll hone in on New Jersey in just a moment. Let's see, let's do wind barbs. We never really do wind barbs, but we'll do them. You can see our big flow off the ocean here out of the east as high pressure is off the coast, and southeast flow and upglide. This looks like it's going to be a wet day around here tomorrow afternoon right through Friday morning. 24-hour temperature change where it's rained. It has cooled some 20 to 25 degrees, and it's warmed in areas where it's been warming, but it's been very warm here, almost downright hot. Well, with the wind ongoing right now, it feels like it's in the upper 40s to low and mid 50s in the New Jersey, New York City metro area this afternoon, and in the Philadelphia area, it's probably going to be anywhere from the upper 50s to mid 60s, and this is what it feels like with the wind chill values this morning, or this afternoon rather. And if we get down to try to go down further into the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area, we're going to find temperatures that it feels like it's in the low to the mid 70s here around Washington, D.C. So pretty nice day in this region here as far as the temperature and the real feel goes. And this is the 24-hour stage 4 precipitation analysis, all digital from NCEP. And this is through this morning at 12Z, so it's been very wet, like 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain here. Pretty wet. If we looked at the 168-hour analysis of rainfall across the contiguous United States, you can see the areas where it's been pouring. And we do mean pouring, and even here in the Northwest and the Cascades as well. 72 hours of snowfall here in the northern New England area and the Green and White Mountains here, just a couple of inches at the higher elevations, and across portions of Idaho and Montana and Wyoming here, and also portions here in Seattle in Washington. Other than that, not too much snow. And again, if we wanted to look at the seasonal snowfall analysis, and this takes us all the way into this morning, we can see that we've had about 12, 20 something inches of snow across southern New England, less as you head south through central and southern New Jersey, and practically nothing here in southern New Jersey and the Delmarva region, very little, just a couple of inches. And this is for the whole season, and this starts this ends today on the 29th, and it started back in September. So there's been a lot of snow up here in the northern plains and in northern New England. Obviously, we've had 80, 90, 100 inches of snow here, but practically nothing in our area. Very little for the season. I don't even know why we're showing this. And this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center as of late this morning, early this afternoon. This is our area of greatest, heaviest rain and convection of thunderstorms here across the southeastern United States and portions of the Tennessee and Ohio River valleys here into the Gulf. This would be the tornado outlook here. This looks minimal, but still cannot be ruled out with wind shear, both directional and vertical speed shear. And the hail, well, the atmosphere is pretty warm, so we're not really, looking at too much damaging in hail reports here, but we've already seen some hail in some of these storms and mostly wind damage. And again, the wind outlook for today. Now, if we went into tomorrow's 4-panel, it's where everything shifts to the East Coast with this big storm system, so moderate to heavy rain and showers and thunderstorms. Mostly just a rain here, isn't going to be embedded in this, and that's, the stratiform rain that's coming in from off the ocean because we have a marine air mass in place. So, but still, there are chance of showers and thunderstorms again from the mid-Atlantic coast all the way down through Florida, again across the upper Midwest as well. The biggest threat for tornadic activity would, or chances of that happening, would be over the east shores here of the North and South Carolina coastlines, as well as the wind damage into Florida, and as well as the hail outlook too. Okay, they did not update this yet. Let's see if they did. I don't believe they did, because today's Wednesday. This was updated on Tuesday, so probably going to be another couple of hours or so because they're in the plain states here. This portion of this comes from the Climate Prediction Centers, and this is the 6 to 10 day temperatures from Monday the 4th through the 8th of May. And it's cold here in the Northeast, especially in the Great Lakes in northern New England. So, we're dealing with cold air mass in place here, very hot and warm across central and southern Florida, also into southern Texas, and of course all the way up along the west coast and the Rockies as well. 8 to 14 day temperatures look like this. It's cold. From the Continental Divide east across New England, especially the Ohio River Valley into the northeast here, warmer than average in central and southern Florida, and very warm to hot here in the desert southwest and across Nevada, Arizona, and all of California up to the Cascades and Washington as well. Following this line of thinking is the 6 to 10 day precipitation from the 5th of May through the 8th of May. It's pretty wet here along the eastern United States coast. Portions of the upper Midwest is very dry with normal predictability here in the southwest. And the 8 to 14 day, which takes us to from the 6th through the 12th, well, it's very dry again over the west and the central plains. A little wet here in portions of New Mexico, portions of southern Texas here, and pretty wet again along the eastern United States coast. We're going to use the NAM model guidance from this morning across the northeastern United States here, and we're looking at the overview of precipitation. And we can see, rain breaking out here across the region late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Some of it's going to be heavy at times, but the real heavy stuff comes in tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, and we do need some very heavy rain here because if you notice, the flow is parallel to the surface front. So with that in mind, vertically in the atmosphere, the rain is going to be moderate to heavy. It lighten up a little bit by the time we get into Friday morning, but there's still going to be rain around here, probably not clearing out until Friday afternoon, and even then there'll be spotty drizzle and light showers about as the upper low gets into Canada. I want to look at the near surface winds here as we get into tonight and tomorrow morning. You're noticing there are all the marine air masses in place with easterly flow. But as the upper level low gets into Detroit and Indianapolis here, wind profiles begin to change around, but they're still out of the southeast, and that's a lot of upglide in the atmosphere, and that's why the winds are going to be moderate to strong around here with some very strong wind gust here during the afternoon hours as the cold front and occluded low approach the region in the afternoon. So, the wind gusts are going to be strong. So this could bring down some power outages, and we could have, all of those things happening again. We'll watch out for that. Winds begin to back around to the north and northwest as we get into Friday night and into early Saturday morning. Using the NAM model guidance for the max winds here, by the time we get into Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, as the cold front is arriving on our doorstep with all that heavy rain, we'll be dealing with wind gusts here approaching 50, 55, 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So this is definitely going to bring down trees and some power lines as well. So we'll be monitoring the power outages throughout this forecast period here. Another thing I like to look at is the precipitable water values in the atmosphere, what the model is showing us here, and you can see definitely we're approaching 1.5 to almost 2 inches of water vapor in the atmosphere as this cold front approaches on Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. So any of the rainfall that comes in off of the southeast flow is going to be training over the same locations, and that orographical lifting is going to cause some very incredible amounts of water, especially over the interior regions of the Hudson River Valley, northwestern New Jersey, and the Poconos in northeastern Pennsylvania. Just take you out in time here, again, looking at the total accumulated precipitation that the model guidance is now seeing. We can see better than 1.5 to 2, 3, even 4 inches of rain over the higher terrain of northwestern New Jersey because of the flow is parallel to the front. And looking at the CAPE values, the convective available potential energy, it seems to be the strongest where the Storm Prediction Center has the severe weather threat boxes here over the Carolinas and the Virginias south. That looks to be where the heaviest is. If you notice the line here of CAPE on Thursday afternoon begins to die out and head southeast because of all the marine air mass that's going to be in place with the southeast to east flow from off the ocean. But there still could be some thunderstorms in this particular area here, and we're going to be monitoring that as well on top of all the rainfall and everything else that's coming in. Well, as I was recording this video, I had a couple of phone calls that came in that were needed and required. And, well, the one thing that happened to me before we go further with this broadcast is that somebody threw out a brand new mountain bike, and I got it. And my good friend and, client, Matthew, came over and made it all right. I mean, just needed new air in the tire and raising the 18 speed too, by the way, from Huffy, old school and in mint condition. So, it was like Jesus was smiling down on me today. And when I was outside riding the bike around a little bit, had to go to the garage to pick up a few things. It's windy out there. So right now, I want to continue this broadcast with the helicity. Helicity is the spin of the atmosphere. And when we're reaching areas above 450, 500, kilograms above the ground level here, a relative helicity, or the spin of the atmosphere from 0 to 3 kilometers, the lower layers of the atmosphere, we can definitely tell by Thursday morning we've got the spin in the atmosphere, and then we really, we got the music. You got the music. You can see all this spin here in the atmosphere as the cold front approaches the region in the afternoon hours on Thursday with the showers and thunderstorms. And this orographic lifting and helicity is going to add the flavorings for some moderate to heavy rain around here until about Friday morning. Things should begin to, shut off a little bit, but there's still quite a little bit of spin here in the atmosphere through Friday too. The main threat here with this is with any kind of thunderstorm activity that's going to occur in this area. The highest helicity still looks to the north or to the south here, but any of these regions here across interior New York and New Jersey, they have the chance for, spin-ups of thunderstorms that will enhance the orographic lifting of the atmosphere, and that's going to enhance the rainfall over, higher terrain regions. It's like a 4-hour video here that never ended because I keep getting interrupted with telephone calls, but that's okay under the situation that we're in. So this is the latest model guidance for the week ahead for the next 10 days from the European model guidance across the country. Here comes that storm system across the Great Lakes, including here comes that macro scale and mesoscale cold front and the orographic lifting rainfall that we spoke so much about. But, what I wanted to do is say that this weekend looks better. Saturday looks okay. We're pulling things away. The storm is going to go off the coast. Still tight pressure gradient, but the winds are, going to abate as we head into Saturday and Sunday, especially Saturday afternoon and Sunday. Things should be calming down as high pressure builds across the southern Appalachian Mountains here. The Tennessee River Valley area here is the next warm front with a low across it moving into the area on Monday. So Sunday night, clouds increase. Here comes the rainfall once again. And then here comes the next storm system in both branches, the northern stream, the southern stream for Wednesday, May 6th. So things are really going to start going downhill again. We have a southwest or southeasterly or easterly flow coming in from off the ocean again, and more precipitation as the storm system gets deflected towards the southern mid-Atlantic here, the northern mid-Atlantic, and then basically heads out to sea. So there's going to be some precipitation here. We just don't know the details, the finer details in all of this forecast going forward. Not so sure, but we've got a busy pattern coming up for sure. Trust and believe, folks. That's going to do it for today. For GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. We'll visit you back on the last day of the month, Thursday, tomorrow, the 30th of April, 2020. Be safe out there. I love you all.